Welcome to Soul Sync, a sacred space for women of color navigating the in-between. I'm Pamela J. Thomas, and I created this podcast to hold space for your next chapter. Let's take a breath and begin. Welcome to Soul Sync, where we pause long enough to hear the truth beneath the noise. I'm your host, Pamela J. Thomas. Before we step into today's conversation, I invite you to take a long, slow breath in through your nose and release it gently through your mouth. Let your shoulders soften. Let your jaw release. Let your whole body know it's safe to be here. This moment is for you. This is your sacred pause. This week, I wrap up the very first Women Don't Retire Roundtable. It's a circle of brilliant, powerful women navigating transitions, some expected, some completely life-altering. And what has struck me most is this. Every woman arrived carrying something heavy. Not just responsibilities, not just decisions, but emotional weight. A shift in identity, fatigue for caring from so many other people, a longing to slow down, a need for clarity, a desire to feel like themselves again. And I realize we're entering the holiday season carrying many of those same things. For some, this season brings warmth and joy, but for others, it brings pressure, expectations, emotional labor, and family roles that you thought you outgrew. So today, I want to talk about the sacred pause, a conscious decision to honor your capacity before the world asks for more. The pause is not laziness, it's wisdom. It's alignment. It's an act of self-preservation and self-respect. And it's essential right now because the holidays can pull on your energy in ways that leave you depleted before the new year even arrives. But it doesn't have to be that way. You're allowed to choose a different rhythm. You're allowed to protect your inner winter. You're allowed to say, not this year. This is the heart of the sacred pause. What we're talking about is a seasonal shift from doing to being, from reacting to choosing, and from surviving to listening. I want to begin by sharing something that became unmistakably clear as I closed Roundtable 1. We are entering the holiday season already full of transition, full of responsibility, full of emotions we haven't had space to name, full of roles that we're still unlearning, full of wisdom we haven't yet given ourselves permission to trust. And because of that fullness, many of us move into November and December kind of on autopilot, showing up for traditions and expectations and obligations that no longer match who we are becoming. The holidays are supposed to be a time of connection and warmth. But for so many women, especially women who have lived their lives in service to others, the season can feel like a return to old identities we've outgrown. It's almost like the world says, come back and play the part we designed for you. But for some of us, that inner voice whispers, that is not who I am anymore. This time of year has a way of tugging on the strong one, the dependable one, the one who always figures it out, even when you're exhausted, even when you're in transition, even when your spirit is asking you to slow down. And I want to say this clearly. You do not have to be everything you used to be. Not in this season, And truthfully, not anymore. This is what the sacred pause is all about. It's not a vacation. It's not a luxury. It's not a nice idea. The sacred pause is a threshold, a deliberate moment where you stop long enough to notice what your life is asking of you now. Most of us have been taught to push through, to be productive, to hold it together, to show up no matter what our bodies and our spirits are telling us. But the sacred pause says something different. Slow down enough to hear the truth, your truth, before you say yes to anything else. Because the truth is, many of us are navigating invisible transitions right now. Transitions in our identity, our work, transitions in caregiving, transitions in our relationships, transitions in our sense of purpose. And the holidays tend to magnify those transitions. You probably will find yourself a little out of place, stretched thin, like your inner world just doesn't match what's going on around you. And that's okay. You're not behind. You're not failing. You're not too emotional, too tired, or too sensitive. You're simply evolving. And evolving requires rest. It requires breath. It requires space. It requires a pause. The sacred pause is your opportunity to ask, who do I want to be in this season? Not who do they expect me to be, not who have I always been, and also not what will keep the peace. But the true questions are, what version of me feels most aligned right now? What do I actually have the capacity for? What are my desires? What am I releasing? And what am I reclaiming? When you allow yourself to pause, really pause, your body starts to speak to you. Your intuition rises, your clarity sharpens. The truth reveals itself in ways you might not have noticed while you're rushing through life. And here's the beautiful part. The sacred pause is not about withdrawing from everyone. It's only the most important thing you can do. It's about returning to yourself first. Because when you return to yourself, you can choose how you want to enter the season rather than being pulled into these automatic roles that you've outgrown. When you pause, you get to decide what gatherings nourish you, what traditions feel meaningful, what boundaries you need, what you're willing to release this year, and where your energy is truly needed. When you pause, you reclaim your power to choose instead of react. When you pause, you stop betraying your own needs for the comfort of others. When you pause, you shift from performing into presence. And here's the deeper truth. Every time a woman pauses, she begins to hear the sound of her own life again. Her breath, her longings, her clarity, her yes, her no, her becoming. So, as we move into this season, I want you to know you don't have to earn rest. You don't have to pretend you're okay. You don't have to hold every tradition and every motion and every family member together. The sacred pause invites you to be honest about your capacity, boundaries, and needs. It invites you to honor your own becoming, even in a season that asks you to be everything for everyone else. And beloved, you deserve that. You deserve to enter this season with ease. You deserve to choose softness. You deserve to protect your peace. You deserve to listen to your body. You deserve to breathe. This is your moment to reclaim your rhythm. This is your moment to choose how you will show up. This is your moment to step into this season differently. Not in survival mode, not in obligation, not in old identities that no longer fit, but in alignment, in truth, in rest, in the fullness of yourself. This is the soul of the sacred pause.
If this episode stirred something in your soul, if you felt seen, softened, or simply supported, I'd be so grateful if you'd take a moment to leave a review. Your words help other women, especially those at a sacred threshold, find this space. It only takes a minute, but your review becomes part of the ripple. Thank you for listening. Thank you for syncing with your soul.
I wanted to share a little bit with you about the roundtable that we've hosted this month. Something beautiful emerged during this roundtable that I want to share. It's not personal stories, more patterns of wisdom. The first lesson that I'm taking away from this experience is that women are craving permission to rest, not rest as a reward, not rest as a collapse, rest as rhythm, rest as reclamation. Again and again, I heard, I didn't realize how tired I was until I stopped. This is the perfect season to begin to acknowledge that and attend to it. The second big lesson that I'm taking away here is that many of us are grieving our old identities, even the ones we thought we were finished with. The holidays tend to bring those old identities right back to our doorstep. The strong one, the fixer, the orchestrator, the reliable one, the peacekeeper. And even though many of us have thought we were ready to put those roles down, there's an aspect of which they feel comfortable. So we tend to allow ourselves to fall back into those rhythms easily unless we're really paying attention to what's going on around us and within us. But Roundtable 1 taught me this. We all get to decide which version of ourselves, or which versions even, you could even say versions of ourselves, we want to choose to show up as this season. The third lesson, and this is one of my favorites because community is something that we all crave and don't know and don't remember that we do on so many levels. But the third lesson is that community helps to create clarity. Over and over, the women at the table were so excited about being in community and having a safe space. Things like, I didn't know I needed this space until I entered it. As we enter the holidays, often the most isolating, busy season, the reminder is clear. We don't have to navigate these things alone. And in particular, these big life transitions, we don't have to navigate alone. We don't have to walk into the holiday season without any support. We can choose softness, spaciousness, and sisterhood anytime we want. And by the way, your nervous system will thank you for that because we're designed to be in community and to get the support of others, particularly as women. The last, maybe not the final lesson, but the last one I want to share with you today is that the path forward most often reveals itself in the pause. The moment we slow down and take a breath, we allow intuition to move in. Our body can speak, our spirit can whisper, and truth rises to the surface. This is why the sacred pause matters. This is why this episode matters. We all are worthy of clarity before the world demands our energy. Let's drop into a simple practice you can return to throughout the holidays. We're going to start with finding your breath. Place one hand over your heart and the other over your belly. And we're going to inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 2. And exhale for 6. Let your nervous system settle. Now, ask your body a question, not your mind, your body. What do I need more of this season? Don't force it. Just observe. Let the answer rise. Maybe it's slowness. Maybe it's boundaries. Maybe it's connection. And maybe it's solitude. But whatever emerges, trust it. Now, I invite you to release one expectation. Say quietly to yourself, not this year. And let your spirit decide what's going to fall away. The next step is to set a small micro intention for the season. Now, this is not about setting a goal, not a plan. It's more like a feeling tone, the vibe of how you want this season to go for you. So focus on something that feels and sounds like softness or clarity or joy, stillness, boundaries, enoughness. Take a breath and breathe that feeling into your body. That is your sacred pause, and you can return to it at any time.
What if retirement wasn't a finish line, but a sacred beginning? Women Don't Retire is a call to reimagine your next chapter with purpose, power, and joy. I share real stories, deep truths, and practical wisdom for women ready to lead, even after leaving the title behind.
Available now where books are sold. See the show notes for a link to get your copy today. As we close, I want to remind you, as we step into this holiday season, remember, you are not behind. You are not failing. You are not obligated to be who you were last year. You are in transition. You are evolving. You are reclaiming yourself, one pause at a time. If this episode resonated, I invite you into our Substack community, where we will be continuing these conversations in real time and in real community. And stay close. Roundtable 2 opens in early 2026. Until then, beloved, breathe, soften, and choose yourself first.
Thank you for sharing this moment with me. Until next time, stay soft, stay grounded, and stay in sync with your soul. Subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone at their own threshold.